Hey guys, this is Shawn Daugherty from the Kansas City Shock, and I want to talk to you this week about an interesting concept about our program, having to do about more of the inner workings and ideas and thoughts that go into how we construct the Kansas City Shock. Last week we gave you kind of a brief summary of how this program came into existence, and today I kind of want to follow up on that and give you more of an in-depth perspective of almost a mission on how we organize our program, not compared to any other program, but what sets us apart from the soccer community, from the business world, and kind of what makes us tick, and how in the end it really revolves around you guys. So I actually brought a prop with me today. It's actually the hat I'm wearing. It says Legacy Football Club. It's actually from some friend of ours in Sparks, Nevada, that run an organization, obviously called Legacy. Part of their motto has been how will you be remembered and building a legacy. Okay, so basically asking the concept of what are you doing so that you will be remembered for the years to come. And that concept and that motto really applies to our program as well, in the event that we have to sit down and ask ourselves what's going to make us different from everybody else? What's going to separate us when people come down and say, Kansas City Shock? What's so unique about that idea? And I think a lot of it has to do with the idea of building, not just a legacy, but literally building a program. I think back to when I was a kid, and I'm sure many of you can relate. Before video games and all that came to play, I had a fun toy called Legos, which a lot of you are going, oh yeah, I remember Legos. Oh yeah, I still have Legos. Oh yes, I'm still playing with Legos. The concept of Legos was simple. There's no concept. You just build. And I love that idea because you could take whatever you could think in your mind and apply it and build something that was unique to yourself. And that, really relates back to an earlier video that we had about talking in lines of why we aligned ourselves with Women's Premier Soccer League. The idea of being able to be a little bit more unrestrained on how we build our program. But when it's just one person building an idea or just a small group of people building a concept, great things can happen. But when you involve an entire community and a subculture, that's when the amazing really starts to take place. And that's something that makes our program very unique. Um, when we announce our home field, which is coming shortly, I do assure you of this, uh, you'll instantly realize that this is not a massive stadium, that there is not thousands of seats to sit. So some of you are checking that off your list of possible potential places for us. And we don't do that just because we don't believe in filling those seats. But on our side, we want to be proven that we need those seats. And that comes back to you, not the consumer, but the fan. And a lot of what we do as an organization is built around what you want to see in a program. So we start small, and we start with a small foundation and a small idea and concept. We know the direction that we want to go with our program. We do have a 5-year and 10-year plan, but a lot of those plans are flexible around what you as the fan expect. So with that, I encourage you to not necessarily invest in our organization, though many of you will anyway. It's called buying tickets. But think back to a childhood book of yours where you got to choose the ending. You'd read a page and said, okay, if you want to make this choice, turn to page 54. If you want to make this choice, turn to page 27. And depending on the choice you made is the dependence of the outcome of the entire scenario of the book that you read. The Kansas City Shock is a very similar concept. Our direction and dedication of what we're building revolves so much around you as the fan that you really are the ones that are determining the direction that we're going to end up going. So that means that this year, if we have season ticket holders, for example, when that comes up, if we have 1,000 to 2,000 season ticket holders, oh my word, that's going to be something that we're going to have to adjust to immediately. If there's not, then we've already planned for it. But what's important is realizing that our organization, our structure, is very small. And it's not done because we believe we're small. We believe that we're as big as Kansas City and as big as you as the fan want us to be. But we want to expand with you, and we want to grow with you. We want the Kansas City Shock to be almost like a living, breathing organism that as more time progresses and as it's nurtured and as it's brought about through media, through fan interaction, through players, through success on the field and off the field, that it's allowed to grow into something magnificent so that 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years down the road, we're going to be able to look back at this organization and go, oh my gosh, look at what people can do when they come together to build something unique. My dream is that each one of you who are reading or seeing this message, I don't have subtext, I'm sorry, any of you who are seeing this message, one day will be able to look back and say, I was a part of that. I am a part of that. I invested in this organization. I saw the dream. I saw my own dream get incorporated into it. That's the other reason why we're so open to the public. We want to hear your thoughts, both positive and negative. We realize that it goes both ways in the business world, and that's fine because we tailor our organization a lot based on what you think and what you believe. There are some things that we're still set in stone that are going to happen. I mean, that's just a fact of life. We're in the WPSL. That's not going to change. It's not going to change anytime soon that I'm aware of, and we're okay with that. You know, we agree that there will be college players on our roster. That's not going to change right now either. We are adamantly excited about the multiple different colleges that are going to be represented this summer through our organization. And so many of them are local organizations that it's really going to emphasize and shine the entire Kansas City area, because you're going to learn that a lot of these players are really in your backyard. Some of them you're going to know about. Some of them you've never heard of, but by the end of the summer, you're going to know all of them on a first and last name basis. And that's really cool for us, and that's kind of our first example of tailoring ourselves to the community. You know, our players are part of this community. Our players are part of Kansas City. They're part of this diverse group of individuals that call this area home. And we want to make sure that we emphasize that to everybody. And that goes back to our final overall umbrella concept of being available to everyone and anyone, regardless of your location, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your background. We firmly believe that you as a fan deserve 2 hours every week to sit back, relax, enjoy a little bit of community, enjoy a good game, and just forget about everything else in your life. Yell at the ball on the field, cheer when the goal is scored, and just have a good time. Because if you're having a good time, if you're walking away refreshed, excited, even a little bit stressed out on how close that last goal came, that means we're accomplishing our mission. Sure, in 10 years it'd be amazing if we're a corporation. If we have grown to a very large standard, that's a hope and dream of ours. But none of that is possible without you, the fan, without you, the individuals who see this, who hear this, plugging in with us. And that is not me saying open up your wallet and give us your money, even though that is nice also. That does help cover bills. But that also means plugging into us on Facebook, on Twitter, sending us emails, giving us your thoughts. This is just like a restaurant. Everyone wants to know your feedback. Fill out the receipt, the survey on the back of the receipt, and get a free cookie. That's what Subway has on all their receipts right now. Why? Because they want to know what they can do to adjust to meet the needs of the consumer. And we're no different. Even though we haven't stepped onto the field yet, we're still tailoring a lot of things that we're doing just to make sure that the fan experience is optimized for this summer, for our community, and most importantly for you. So when we look at building a legacy, taking off a legacy football club, our legacy is that we want to ensure that people around the world will know this is Kansas City's team, and this is a team, an organization that revolves strictly around the people. Because realistically, in order for us as a business to succeed and to have the needs met that we want, we have to go out first and meet the needs of you, the fan. And if we can find that happy medium between the two, just like Legos, the possibilities are absolutely endless on what can take place. So as we move forward these next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot of information being pushed in a lot of different directions. Season tickets are going to be announced, home field's going to be announced, the schedule is going to be announced, and we have a ton of player announcements, a lot of them. And we're going to be organizing all that in the next couple of weeks. Plus, on top of that, we'll be speaking at 1 Million Cups at the Kauffman Foundation on April 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is also very cool. And once we get the link up for that, If you're not able to make it to the Kauffman Foundation, you'll be able to actually sit at your computer and watch it live as well. We'll be presenting to some of the top entrepreneurs and investors in the Kansas City community and everybody else that we can invite into that building. So that's going to be a pretty exciting event as well. And all that's coming up literally within 2 or 3 weeks. So be prepared and stay tuned with us because there's a lot coming up. And always remember that everything that we're doing it out of our best interests, and our best interest is you. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave it here on the YouTube page and find us every which other direction, and we will always be in contact with you. So thanks for listening to me. Thanks for believing in us, and thank you for investing in something that is beyond just 11 players on the field. It's about the culture of the unique city that we call home. Have a good evening, guys.